Kia ora, welcome to the seminar, Digital Devices, portable devices mainly, and this is for the Make Some Noise Mensa Conference 2017. Those are some of the things that define who I am and where I've come from, and my blog site is there and my email if you want to keep in contact with me. Ko Warati toko moanga, ko 6 months in a leaky boat was my grandfather's trip to New Zealand when he was only 14 years old and he had to fend for himself. He got very, very sick, almost died, and was put on Soames Island until he recovered, and a lot of people died here. When I wake up in the morning, that's what I see. My river is the Manawatu. I am ko Ngāti Pegler, toko iwi, ko Nainai, toko hapu, ko Nainai, toko marae, and ko Philip Pegler, aho. The kaupapa for this event is to think about how we can engage students with limited theory knowledge to really enjoy being part of composition and performance. And I would suggest that technology offers us lots of possibilities in this area. So, and distill a lot of information on various platforms and just select the main things that work around the focus of creativity, collaboration and sharing and learning. And the best way to do that was to group these into 3 categories: rhythm, and those that are concerned with melody, and then those that combine all of the elements together. Selected apps that we cover today, some of them appear in more than one category. The digital audio workstations are the powerful ones like GarageBand and Notion, and so we'll spend a little bit more time on each of those. So let's start off with rhythm apps, and Incredibox is one that appeals to a wide variety of ages. This is an example of taking Incredibox and using it at level 1. The problem I had was a student struggling with music. They hadn't taken it before. It was they were deaf in one ear, and she was really unable to connect with what was required for composition. So to give her a framework, we used Incredibox, which we typed it up here, and there are now 5 versions, one extra for iOS systems called Brazil, and we're just going to take the beats only and the rhythm around Incredibox at the start. You can see each guy has got a different set of clothes and makes a different sound, but no melody at this stage. And we move into how she made this backing beat for herself. Sorry, this is her actual recording backing beat into GarageBand. And you can see that at the top there was no ability to record in the first 2 or 3 Incrediboxes, so I used Soundflower to send the sound into Audacity, and then I send that sound into a GarageBand. So that's the Audacity window at the top. Picking it up and sending it somewhere else. Been created in Incredibox and then imported into GarageBand. As I move around the screen, you can see the different instructions and tablature just explaining what each of the regions is. So these are audio waveforms where level 1 student has attempted to play along with the Incredibox thing, sing something. She found more success though when she went to the piano and started playing in something and keeping and in time with the backing beat. So this is how her original piece of music started off: a structure with an intro and a main theme, which I'll play you a little bit of. had 3 different parts or 3 different sections, and this type of approach can help kids who are particularly struggling with the theory or the background understanding of notation, and build a bridge for them so they can move into writing their own stuff quite quickly using technology. The musical concepts that Incredibox can teach and reinforce: arranging and remixing, layering, solo, tutti, rhythm, texture, timbre, a cappella, beatboxing, conducting skills, and timing. So it's quite versatile. Okay, the next app is a rhythm app, and it's called SampleBot. And I'm just going to leave the introduction, because when you turn it on in your iPad or wherever you use it, it gives you an incredibly good way to do beatboxing for each of the 3 different samples. And I'm going to play you one of the samples, which is made using found sounds, rubber bands in this case, and build up in layers. So this is what it sounds like. So that's SampleBot, and it's very powerful and open-ended, and allows students to record all sorts of things. And I think that's probably my favourite piece of software at the moment. It's similar to Loopy, and actually made by the same guy, Michael, over in Australia. And you can, on Loopy, build up a demo and have the kids perform like a level 3 student did for me, while doing his performance live with this. And he created a complex backing track and had his own vocals and song playing over the top of that, which I recorded on the video in the background. So here's a demonstration of The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and it's using Loopy. It's really important that you get the beat going out loud to start with, otherwise it's quite hard to cue in the actual tracks and samples, as we found. Next we come to melody, and we're going to be using Magic Piano and other melodic based pieces of software. And Smule does DJ and backing tracks as well, so there's quite a few things in that set of that category of Smule applications. Demonstration briefly of that on the tablet 10.1, so it's quite an old one, but it works fine. The second one is Synthesia, and using MIDI tracks, it allows you to play through, and you can see the notes. A lot of kids, I guess, in your classes are using this to learn songs without, again, using the theory or having to know the theory behind it. It's very versatile because it's MIDI tracks. So these are some of the advantages. You can play at your own speed. You can have an unlimited number of songs because you can just use any old MIDI files to import. Track your progress, get rewarded. Finger number hints, which is nice. Keyboard lights up so you can see what the notes are. You can read music or not, as we said. practice hands separately, although probably it's mainly orientated to the right hand because it's quite hard and small to do it on left hand with a phone, although iPad's not so bad. Okay, now we come to which combine several elements together, melody and rhythm and many other things, and so this makes them quite powerful. You'll see there's a couple of game pieces in there at the same time. So let's look at one that my son came home from school and I said, "What have you been doing in music today?" And he goes, "Oh, we've been doing Just Dance." I said, "Oh, that doesn't sound like music to me," but he absolutely loves it, and it's really good syncing and getting a movement, and it could be used as a reward for kids who've done other work. So this is an introduction to Just Dance.
Hi, and I'm going to show you how to do Just Dance on the computer. So, pretty much, you get the app on your phone called Just Dance Now. Then, go onto the website www.justdancenow.com and then put the QR code up here or type in the room number on your phone. So, after that, your phone will see your movements when you use something like this to do it. So, let's get started.
Okay, here come the players.
This comes in.
Are they just showing you the actions on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. You got 1 star already.
Yeah. Much better than everyone else.
Okay, I'll watch you doing it. We'll stop it in a sec, but can you tell me what you like about this program?
Well, I like because it controls your movement. Yay, I got 3 stars.
Does it help you stay in time with the music?
Yeah. It helps you sync with music.
Staff Wars is a little application I'm going to show you on the iPad, and identify the notes correctly and you get a point. The next one is Riff Station. Now Riff Station is really good at playing the song and showing the chords for piano and also for guitar, and the kids can play along with this. We used Paint the Town Green, and in the Normandale band we recorded the final presentation of this without Riff Station, where we just did it by ourselves. One of the cool things about Riff Station is that it will give you all the chords and things that it sets up and identifies using an algorithm. So sometimes there's mistakes, but overall it's a really good start. And what I like about it is that it gives you time to go around the students. And the key thing about Riff Station is it gives agency back to the students. Some helpful features: slowing down the song, changing the key, isolate the guitar or other instrument that you want to, and the loop and metronome features are quite good. Unhelpful features, however, sometimes gets the timing wrong or the chords wrong. Okay, so the next application is DJ, and I love DJ because it interfaces with the tunes you've already got on the songs you've already got on iTunes, and it just leverages off that. You have 2 decks, and you can see the waveforms, and the key thing is to match up the beats to get good syncing and make sure that the style's the same. You can see there's a bunch of different pads there on the left hand side, which I just highlight for different sound effects. And let's have a little demo of that so that we can see just how powerful it is. Now, it would be remiss of me not to mention Learning Music by Ableton, which is absolutely brilliant. There's no lag, and it gives you an introduction to beats, melodies, bass lines, chords, chord structure. It's free, nothing to install, and it's just a really good introduction to sound layering and into Ableton actually, if you want to go further with that piece of software. The next app is Notion, but at the same time would like to cover the use of the iRig Pre, which allows me to record into the iPad and use it for Loopy, SampleBot, and the different tracks can be recorded simultaneously. I wondered how you could make a quick score setup, starting with a lyric sheet and then moving that into maybe a performance application and using it as a live performance. I want to show you how to do that quickly, starting with Notion, and I'm going to put in a lyric sheet just with a few bars and then add that to my desktop and then move that into Studio 1.3 as a live performance. And we'll start off with a new piece of music, and I'm going to call this one Cry Me a River, capital C-R-Y, me river, and make it a lead sheet. So we'll start off by adding a treble stave and putting that into the score. You can see it's come up quite quickly there, and the part will be piano to play it back. So instrument, name, piano. Whoop. And that'll do for now. Return, yep, that's all good. Back. Now I think I'd like to change the font. Maybe we'll go back into a score setup, and in the score setup gives us full score settings, and I can change the font in here. So I've done the title, subtitle, Mr. Mr. P. And back, and we'll change the font to slightly smaller, maybe. Boom, boom. Back, and now we're going to go to change all of the fonts to a different jazz font. I think I quite like that one, so we'll leave that in there. Okay, jazz font. So we'll add some notes to our Cry Me a River using first the note icon here and quaver, and I'm just going to put the notes in with my finger, and it's A minor Cry Me a River, so it's caterpillar, and then bug, rest, and more word names, butterfly, and then rest. So we've got caterpillar, bug, butterfly, and then we want another butterfly, so we can probably copy all of that. Copy, pop it over here, and I wonder if we've got a paste button there. Paste. Nice. And for the last or the fourth part, you can use the Apple Pencil. So sorry about that. We'll go to making it a bit bigger and turn the piano into Apple Pencil. Now I can use my finger, so I can just put in the names in it. So again, we've got to use quaver. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum. Pretty lousy quaver. Oh, it recognised it. Bomb, bomb. Take it up one, if we can take it up one higher. No. Undo that, and we'll do a different quaver. Maybe we'll use the Apple Pencil, it's a bit more precise than my finger. Draw it a bit better. Here we go, and this time it's a crotchet. And another rest. We can highlight the rest as well, so hopefully that makes it a bit easier to recognise. And then the last note is a good old semi-brief, and we'll put in a double bar line here, and I'll either draw it in or just punch it in using my finger. Here it is. And save this as, should we save it as, and send it to iCloud. So save, so we've already got the name, and it's all done. I open up now on my laptop to add some more parts. Okay, so we'll open up this score in Notion on my laptop, and we see that Crimea River is there, and I had a listen to the video and I realized that it was a bit inaccurate, so I'm going to get rid of one of these bars and maybe these extra bars here as well, just by highlighting them and then going to delete and changing this last bar and highlighting that as well, and deleting that, and changing that last note into something that represents what's being sung. So we'll put a crotchet there and we'll pop it up here. So now if we play this back, it sounds a little bit like this. And I've forgotten the repeat mark, so we'll put a repeat mark in here, highlight it down there, and then drag it up and pop it into the right place so that it repeats. So we'll open it up. Okay. And Justin Timberlake's been named as the composer performer, and you'll see there's a little green highlight here which enables us to put things in that area. The first thing I would do is to change, if it hasn't already been done, the piano into a guitar, and turn on the guitar chord symbols using C7. So the main thing is C7 is enabled and it shows you the chords here. Now I need to put in the chords, I think, to make a decent lead sheet. Start with an A minor, so highlight A minor, A, and then over here we can choose the kind of A chord it is, and I'm going to use A minor there. You might notice on the right hand side the chord symbols are changing, and you've got a choice of 3 or 4 different symbols there. I quite like that one, so I'm going to click on that, and as I move over here it allows me to drop it into that green area, attaching it to the note effectively. So there's my A minor chord. The next chord bar 2 is E7th, and so I'm going to start again on the left hand side, choosing the E, the kind of E chord, E7th, and choose which one I like the fingering for over on the bar chord diagram. I quite like the simple version of E7th here, so we'll stick with the one that they've provided there at the beginning, and we'll put it into here. Bar 3, we'll just pop that up in there. And that's it for the chord diagram. You can see that I've already put in the names of some insects to help the kids to remember it. A caterpillar, bug, butterfly, etc. And that is done in the same manner as you would enter text down here with lyrics, and just pop in the words that you need. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to the sandwich area at the top of the menu on the right hand side, and you can see that it will change its form, and it looks a bit more in a macro view, ready for different changes to the score. So you can hide up a section if you want to later on, if you've got more parts, and you can change the settings. Now I don't really like the piano very much, so I'm going to change the settings here, keyboards, and change this to electric piano to make it more in keeping with the original, and it will by default put in treble and bass, so I just want the treble clef so I can add other parts in the bass. So I'm going to go to notation and change the stave to standard notation, and everything else I think is okay there. So we'll go okay again. So very happy with that. It's electric piano sound now. Let's add the electric bass, same as before, by going into the score setup, But you can see down the side here, you've got all the different instruments listed. Now you have to download each of these. They come in bundles. So I've got guitars and basses already downloaded, and I'm going to choose electric bass as a bass player. I figured it's a nice place to start, keeps everything grounded. And you'll see that both the bass clef and the tab appear, which is convenient. And the cool thing now, if I go out of this view, exit score setup, and I hit on the pencil here, click on the pencil, it allows everything that I put onto the bass guitar on these strings. It's actually still an electric guitar, but let's change that to bass by clicking on the bass tab there, and you'll see that there's now only 4 strings, and it allows me to play the guitar, the bass guitar, as if I was actually playing it, and put the notes in the correct pitch as well. Okay, let's put the notes into the bass clef, and I'll have to turn the pencil on to enable that to happen. So I'm going to click on the pencil. It's not with an A, F, G, A, and then put an E in on the D string, and then an F here. Almost a bit low, we'll get that fixed later. And then a D, E, A. Okay, and we'll just make some changes to that. I think I'd like that to be an octave lower. And F a bit higher up, and the E is okay there, and the A an octave higher, I think, as well. I might put another A on there just to make it a bit fatter. Here we go. And perhaps another D on here to make this a bit fatter as well. So might be too high. Just take it, undo that, take it down an octave. See how that sounds? Now I'm going to add a guitar part underneath and then finish off with the drums. So we'll go back to guitar here and add a guitar part, acoustic guitar, so it doesn't dominate too much. And we'll exit score mode and choose some notes that we can put in to maybe extend the sound of it a little bit. So acoustic guitar, I'm going to start with some quavers, and I'll quickly add through the notes here along with some rests. And put in first rest, and allow a little bit of space here. I like the way the lines line up, so you can tell exactly where to put the rest, which is quite handy. And choosing the kind of notes that I want, so going to some quavers. Let's just see how that sounds. And I'll finish that off. Let's record the last part, which is the drums. Turn on the drums here and choose what sort of drum we want in here. I think I might just go for a drum kit. So we'll put in a drum set here, and we'll put on our parts. Now you can choose some of the templates, which makes life a bit quicker. So we'll exit the score setup, and let's try maybe the first funk one and pop it in here and see how it sounds, and play that back. Not too bad. I think I might go for something a little simpler, so we'll try just a standard almost 4 on the floor rock 1, and compare the two of them, see how that sounds. I think I go for the simpler one, and we'll get rid of the funk sounding one. So let's put in some rock drums right through, and see how that sounds. Thank you, and now we'll try moving this into a performance arrangement, part 3. Okay, we're looking at using Notion and Studio 1.3 for performance, and I'm going to turn on the conductor mode or edit mode, and you'll see the little conductor man turn blue, and the start of the piece is highlighted yellow, along with some indications of the speed and other performance markings down the bottom. So I'm using the iRig Keys 37 Pro just to connect as a MIDI keyboard into the computer. And as I play this, it will change the speed and also the volume. So I'm going to start it off. Faster. Export this to Studio 1.3 using the export function here. Send to Studio 1.3 and it takes all the parts. I can also send it as a WAV file or stems, but I think the MIDI is a little more flexible, so I'm sending the notes through, and there it goes. And here's the data in Studio 1.3 for Crimea River. And you can make some alterations to it here and then send it back to Notion if you want to. The two programs work together seamlessly. Thank you for hearing me out, and look forward to any inquiries you might have. Cheers.